This is the all-new Intel Arc Pro B50 workstation GPU. As you can see, it's a low-profile, dual-slot card. This has 16 gigs of RAM, and recently on the channel, we took a look at it running in a small form factor build that I recently put together. And over there, performance was pretty good. It fit right in this NV10 case, but since then, I had a lot of people asking about kind of pairing this up with a more powerful CPU to see what kind of performance this GPU could really put out. So that's exactly what we're going to be doing in this video, but unfortunately I don't have any small form factor rigs put together with the CPU I really wanted to use. I personally figured we'd just go ahead and go with the best gaming CPU on the market, in my opinion, and a lot of other people's opinion, the AMD Ryzen 7 9800X3D. And the rig I'm going to be using is a pre-built from ASUS. It was just ready to go, so I figured I'd go ahead and slap this GPU in here. It originally came with the Radeon RX 9070 XT, which is going to put out way more performance than the Arc Pro B50, but this will give us an idea of how this little card will perform if you put together a small form factor rig with a CPU like that. If you're not familiar with the specs of the Intel Arc Pro B50, real quick, just wanted to kind of get it out there. We've got 16 gigabytes of GDDR6 running at a 128-bit bus, 16 Xe cores, 4 render slices, 16 ray tracing units, and 128 XMX engines. Total board power here is 70 watts. It doesn't need any extra power. It's going to draw everything it needs from that PCIe slot. It also comes with a full-size bracket and a low-profile bracket. Personally, I'm going to go with a low-profile build on this with a more powerful CPU than the 8700G. But again, we've got that 9800X3D we're going to be testing along with this. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. The first game we have here is Borderlands 4. We're at 1080 medium with XeSS set to balanced, and this game does need a little more optimization for a bunch of different cards out there, but overall, it's not horrible like it is. Unfortunately, we're not at 60 FPS, and if I dropped XeSS to performance, it's going to scale it down a little more, but we can get up to around 64 FPS on average. Afterburner is running up in the top left-hand corner so we can see everything going on with the machine. And at the very bottom, I've got the TGP listed for this Pro B50, up to around 50 watts. But to get a little more out of this game on an Intel Arc card, they have enabled XeSS frame gen. This is great, especially paired up with XeSS low latency mode. Now, instead of getting under 60 FPS, I mean right there at around 55 on average, we're over 100 FPS. And I'll tell you, I've been having a blast with XeSS frame gen. We just need it with more games. I think Intel has done a great job with this. Even on their lower end cards like the A380, works out pretty well. Next on the list, we've got Cyberpunk 2077 1080p Ultra with XeSS set to quality. So we're just using that Ultra preset there, and it will default to XeSS, knowing that we have an Arc card here. Seeing an average of 77 FPS, which is fully playable with a game like this, but just like Borderlands 4, we do have access to Intel's XeSS frame generation. And with that enabled, using the Ultra settings, we can actually take it up to 1440p. This is how I've been playing it on the Arc Pro B50. I don't mind using some frame gen, and especially the way that Intel has implemented the XeSS frame gen here with their XeSS low latency. It looks great and it feels amazing. Next one I wanted to test was Horizon Zero Dawn Remastered, and this one's really hard on lower end GPUs. So we've got plenty of RAM, up to 16 gigs here of GDDR6. If you take a look at our VRAM usage in Afterburner, we're over 8 gigs. And this is where a lot of those lower end cards fall on their face with only 8 gigs of RAM. It's just kind of overrunning it at those high settings, even at 1080p. Next up, Forza Horizon 5 1440p Ultra. We don't need any XeSS with this one, but if you wanted to get a higher frame rate out of it, you could always enable it. We're seeing an average of around 75 FPS at 1440p Ultra with this game. And the final game I wanted to test here was Doom: The Dark Ages. 1080p ultra settings with XeSS set to balance. I actually thought I might have to take XeSS to performance or even go down to medium settings, But this is kind of where that extra RAM really comes into play, because with this, we're over 10 gigs of VRAM being used right now at Ultra 1080p. For a low-profile, dual-slot workstation card, you can definitely game on this. Now, are you going to be doing 4K? Not really. I mean, older games, you may be able to take it up there with some, some scaling going on. 1440 with a lot of games if you have some frame gen enabled, and you could always use FSR frame gen if the game doesn't support XeSS frame gen, but I'll tell you if it does, definitely use that. Just works out really well on these Arc cards. I wouldn't run out and buy this specifically for gaming unless you have a very specific use case scenario where you have to have that low profile dual slot setup and you don't want to spend a ton of money on something that's, being scalped over on eBay. This will get you by at 1080 for sure, and if you're doing some AI workloads, having that extra VRAM really helps out. But that's going to wrap it up for this video. If you're interested in learning a little more about the Intel Arc Pro B50, I'll leave some links in the description. And I've got one other video that I want to do with this. I actually want to use this as a secondary frame generation GPU, so keep an eye out on the channel. But that's it for this one. Like always, thanks for watching.